Hello and welcome back to another Gazetinha from Gazeta Brazil. I'm Euan Marshall and I'm here today in the harsh, unforgiving 20-degree winter of São Paulo. It's so unbearably mild today that I was this close to wearing a coat. And we're here to talk about the second week of the Brazilian Championship, where all 20 teams seem intent on sharing the points amongst themselves. We're also going to look at the next big thing in Brazilian football, who now appears to be off to Europe. And we're also going to give a bit more kudos to the current league leaders, Santa Cruz. So stay tuned. As proof of the notorious unpredictability of the Brazilian league, after only 2 games we have no teams on 6 points and on the one side the newly promoted América Mineiro on 0. That means that all of the teams that won in round 1, so that's Palmeiras, Santa Cruz, São Paulo, Flamengo, Coritiba, Atlético Mineiro and Fluminense, they all dropped points this last weekend. Brazil's a huge country with a lot of big cities and a lot of big clubs, so some sort of parity in the National Football League is to be expected, but perhaps not quite to these extremes. And as much as we love to do it, this shows that making predictions this early in the season is absolutely pointless. For example, Palmeiras, who we praised last week, they lost on Saturday away to Ponte Preta, and in some sections of the media their title credentials are already being written off at this early stage. But it's worth remembering that last season's champions Corinthians, they spent a long period of the first half of the season battling in mid-table, so you know anything can happen between now and December. And the trend looks to continue as some of the league's best talent are now going to miss quite a few rounds due to the Copa America Centenario that's happening in June, and the insane Brazilian football calendar that doesn't allow for a pause for any international tournaments, even the Olympics in Rio de Janeiro in August. Speaking of the Copa America, one player who will be missing for his club and may well have played his last game in Brazil is exciting Santos forward Gabriel Barbosa, also known by his unbearably cheesy nickname Gabigol. So he's already in the US training with the Brazilian national team squad, and barring any injuries, he is guaranteed to be leading the line for Brazil at the Olympic tournament in August. So as he's going to be spending all of this time away playing for his country, I think it would be wise for Santos to cash in on him now while they can. And there's certainly a lot of interested parties, as well as his agent Wagner Ribeiro, who is also Neymar's agent. He's also desperate to look for a move away for his client in this off-season in Europe. Borussia Dortmund had a €25 million bid rejected for Gabriel a few weeks ago, and although his release fee is set at €50 million, his club Santos seem set to let him go for a bid over and above of €30 million. In terms of potential suitors, Paris Saint-Germain have been sniffing around. Dortmund may come in with an improved offer, and he's also been on Arsenal's radar for quite a while now. What's more, in Gabriel's contract, it's stipulated that Barcelona have first refusal on the player, so should they wish to bring him to Spain, it's just going to cost them a cool €30 million. Gabriel's certainly got a lot of talent, and his development has been helped greatly by playing in a free-flowing attacking side such as Santos. He's very quick, especially with the ball at his feet running at defenders. He finishes well, and he's got lots of flicks and tricks in his repertoire. Crucially, he's more sturdy than your typical Brazilian winger, so I think that later on in his career he will make the move from out wide into a more traditional out-and-out centre forward. I think that's where his future lies. Finally, it's time to give some more credit to the team that, at the time of recording, sit at the top of the league table, which is newly promoted Santa Cruz. And after their impressive 4-1 win in their opening day, they went away to Rio de Janeiro and got a very important 2-2 draw away to Fluminense. So Christmas is coming early for Santa this year, and even though I spoke about them a bit last week, they really do deserve plenty of credit, as even though their main goal this year has to be to avoid relegation, their current form is that of a top half side, so I'm wondering how long they can keep this up for. The key to their success is their interesting manager Milton Mendes, who has built a very organised team that always looks to play to its strengths. They defend well in kind of a compact 2 banks of 4, and their 2 wide attackers, Keno and Arthur, are very disciplined in the way they track their opposing fullbacks, which is a weakness of a lot of sides in Brazil. And when they have the ball, it's all about quick transitions and off-the-ball runs, while in attack, the experienced Graffiti does a superb job in linking up the play and getting on the end of chances himself. The 37-year-old ex-Wolfsburg man scored another brace against Fluminense, although one of them was after a very dubious penalty. So Graffiti is already on 4 goals for this season and spray painting his name into the Brazilian record books. The doubt surrounding Graffiti is whether or not his success is a testament to his own quality or perhaps a condemnation of the quality of Brazilian defences. Personally, I think it's a bit of both. Finally, to round up the rest of the matches that we didn't mention, Cruzeiro drew at home to Figueirense, Santos scored a late winner to beat Coritiba, Atlético Paranaense and Atlético Mineiro played out a 1-1 draw. Vitória pulled off a shock, beating Corinthians 3-2. São Paulo lost at home to Internacional. Grêmio grabbed an important 1-0 win at home to Flamengo. Chapecoense beat America, and Sport and Botafogo drew 1 each. So that's all for today. As this was recorded on Wednesday morning, whatever massive stories surface during the midweek round of games will be covered in our next episode, so bear with us there. So in the meantime, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter at Brasil Gazeta, and follow my personal Twitter account at Euan Marshall. And until next time, ciao e até mais.